The dramatic moment Meghan Markle furiously attacked Prince William, the shock revelation that Harry no longer talks to his father Charles, and the self-styled King and Queen of California regally announcing they're off on their second strange pretend royal tour, this time to Colombia. No one knows why. Welcome to the latest weird week in the soap opera, otherwise known as the bizarre lives of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Whatever happened to their Montecito Majesty's plans to maintain a low profile? Not their fault, to be fair, that a bombshell new book has laid bare the tinderbox tensions that simmered towards boiling point amid the fractious preparations for the gruesome twosome so-called fairy tale wedding in 2018. Respected author Robert Jodson's book, The Princess of Wales, the biography, chronicles how an explosive exchange was the turning point, and ever since then, it has been downhill all the way. It was the shocking Meghan moment when a horrified Prince William realised that no good would come of her romance with his brother Harry. Her features twisted with rage, the American actress rounded on Wills and hissed, "Take your finger out of my face." The astonishing confrontation unfolded after William branded his brother's fiancée rude for suggesting that pregnant Kate was suffering from baby brain. The enraged Princess of Wales responded, "You don't know me well enough to talk about my hormones." Humiliated Meghan was crushed. Things were never the same again. 6 years later, the rancid relationship between the Sussexes and the British royals has declined into a frozen wasteland. America's People magazine, Meghan and Harry's favourite publication in which to filter out information, is reporting that King Charles no longer takes his youngest son's calls and won't reply to his desperate letters. Translation: the seething sovereign has reached the end of his tether. The normally mild-mannered monarch has had enough of Harry. The final straw was the Ginger Whinger's extraordinary claim on British TV that the late Queen is fervently supporting his legal war against the popular press from beyond the grave. At Buckingham Palace, this space cadet nonsense was dismissed as tasteless garbage. And as security-obsessed Harry carries on insisting that it's too dangerous to bring his family to the UK, the King is resolved to the sad fact he may never see his grandchildren Archie and Lilibet ever again. But evidently, Harry has no safety fears about notoriously hazardous Colombia, where the Sussexes will be embarking on their next pretend royal tour, following on from their risky trip to similarly menacing Nigeria. In South America, we're told the dismal duo will be lecturing bemused locals on, and I quote, cyberbullying online exploitation, and the mental health impacts of those threats. Poor Harry and Meghan lost in West Coast psychobabble, just as they were when once again showcasing their pursuit of privacy, they appeared on CBS's Sunday morning show, garbling on to host Jane Pauley about online harm. Meghan: "We can see what's happening in the online space. There's a lot of work to be done there." Right. Harry: "We've got to the stage where almost every parent needs to be a first responder, and even the best first responders in the world wouldn't be able to see the signs of possible suicide." OK, then. What the hell are they both on about? Answers on a postcard, please. Can you translate it all, Samara?
No, I really can't, because Harry is so therapized, it's really hard to actually understand what he's saying. I really preferred when he was the lad next door when he lived in Britain. I think LA has completely changed him. He's become a complete Montecito talk that he spews out. And actually, it's really tone deaf. Most parents are just trying to put food on the table and keep the lights on for their kids. Yeah. They're not thinking about being a first responder, being an aide, being this, being a therapist. It's completely utter claptrap from him yet again.
What is wrong with them going to some of the poorest countries in the world to sort of talk about things, issues that they feel affect young people and other people around the world. I don't see what the problem is.
I mean, you know, if they want to stage these very, very weird pretend royal tours, fine. But don't go on about, okay, I can't bring my family back to Britain, it's far too dangerous. And then go to Nigeria and then Colombia, two of the most dangerous countries in the world. It's like, oh, you've been to Nigeria, that's really dangerous. Whoa, well done. You've actually found somewhere more dangerous, Colombia.
I'd love to know if they'd go to those places if the cameras weren't present as well. I would absolutely love to know that, because it's all very, very symbolic and public.
It's the same, him banging on about safety in Britain and then going to Colombia.
You know, you're taking it out of context because, I mean, I think, and I don't know if this is right, and if it's wrong,
So
I'm
you're
going to
taking
get
it out of
killed.
context?
I'm going to get killed for it, but I think the biggest case of death of school children is mass shootings in America. We don't say, oh, they shouldn't be in America because it's so dangerous. They've got kids at school. You're taking the country out of context in what they're trying to do.
Well, you know, I'm a great lover of America, having lived there myself, of course, but it's arguable when he says, well, I can't come back to Britain because it's so dangerous. I mean, America's not famous for being incredibly safe, is it?
No,
you know what I mean? So he's arguably living in a more dangerous country than the one he says is too dangerous to come back to, as in Britain.
But he just wants to do everything half. He flies to London for one day, he comes back straight away because no one wants to talk to him from his family anymore. He'll fly to Nigeria for 3 days and come back. He won't do a full royal tour. He's a 1 foot in, 1 foot out royal. And I think that's how they always wanted it and how they envisioned it. And the Queen is the one who actually envisioned this whole thing in her statement that she said when they left the royal family, said you can have it one way or the other. You can't come halfway back in. That's what they wanted, so they could maintain their notoriety. And now they're scrimmaging for views on their stupid little morning show interviews so that they can try and maintain relevancy. The only reason that we don't see them is when they don't put themselves out there.
What did you say? A 1 foot in, 1 foot out royal. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that as well.
That's always what they wanted.
But yeah, well said. But what about that? It is tasteless and vulgar what he said about the Queen. That the Queen is supporting me from beyond the grave in my legal.
Lots of people say that, but lots of people say, I really feel. You see, sports people win awards and they talk about
but
parents.
they're wankers too.
They talk about parents who've deceased. Oh, right, okay. Let's not make the argument. Let's just get in there with an insult. Lots of people say, I did it for my dead mum, who I feel is.
Yeah, but that's not the same as saying my dead mum is up there cheering me on.
Yeah, but it's just a phrase, isn't it? You know exactly what it means. It's like saying danger.
Yeah, when you're dead, you're
Australia,
dead.
Oh, God, here we go again,
in
Simon.
context, Australia is one of the most dangerous places to live because of all the animals,
the spiders,
and everything else. Yes,
Have
it
you ever
is.
been, Simon?
It is, but also America is one of the most dangerous places. If you take a city like Chicago, he is talking about the danger, the paranoia that he can't see of people here whipped up in a fervour about how they feel about
It's a
these
really
men
dangerous
attacking
place,
him.
Los Angeles, under Gavin Newsom. That's a very dangerous place.
By the way, it's a bit unfair to say Australia's dangerous.
Contextually, if you talk about
because it's got the
spiders
9
and
most poisonous creatures in the world.
A spider's not going to take a
really
gun
fair.
and shoot me in the middle of the night, Simon. All
Yeah,
right.
that's my whole
Australia's
point.
got-
I'm not saying you're making my point for me. I'm not saying Australia's dangerous because of guns. I'm saying it's dangerous. You've got to put the danger into context.
That's not. You can't legislate about that,
it.
can you? They can't blame Australia because it got lots of poisonous animals.
Australia is not a dangerous place at all.
Yeah, thank you. Glad we came to that conclusion,
It
Simon.
is.
In what way? You don't get
Literally in
shot
what
in
way?
Australia,
They-
do you?
Because of the
Low-leg-
poisonous,
kangaroo
because of the
jumping on your
poisonous
fucking head or
creatures,
something,
the
you
flora
know.
and fauna. You have to contextualise what he's saying about I'm trying to contextualise what you're saying about danger.
Yeah.
He sees the danger of the British public whipped into a frenzy about him. He sees that as dangerous without having police protection.
No, he doesn't. This is why he goes on about his safety in Britain. It's all about his status. If the rest of the royal family get armed guards, armed police protection, why can't I? Because you don't do any work. That's why. Let's talk about. That. Let's talk. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm swearing a little bit too much. It's been a long day. Let's talk about that moment, that extraordinary revelation in Robert Jobson's new book about Kate, Princess of Wales. Rob's an old friend of mine, by the way, and a very good royal author he is too. In it is this amazing moment when it was on the run-up to the wedding, and they're all sitting around. You remember when Harry, Meghan, William and Kate were called the Fab Four, like the royal family's answer to the Beatles or something. And they were supposed to be great friends. And that's when Meghan, apparently, it was to do with this sort of argument about the bridesmaid dress for Charlotte. There was a row between Meghan and Kate, because it didn't fit very well or something. And Kate let it be known, oh, you know, she really pissed me off kind of thing and made me cry. And Meghan changed the story and said, actually, you're wrong. It was you that made me cry. You're just, because as Samara said, she was pregnant, you're just suffering from baby brain. And Kate was enraged by this. He said, you don't know me well enough to talk about my hormones. And William apparently said, yeah, you're rude. And at that point, Meghan went, take your finger out of my face. And at that point, apparently, William thought, uh-oh, we've got problems here. And ever since then, it's been downhill. So the wedding went ahead. And in a way, we thought, look at that fairy tale one. Remember the day? It was May the 19th or something. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. But behind the scenes, royal insiders, including William, were already worried about Meghan, and boy, oh boy, they were right?
No. I mean, all that says to me...
Well, she did rather chuck a grenade into the
But there's
royal...
also a lot of reports from inside the palace that she was ordering people around. She was an absolute bridezilla, Meghan Markle. They gave her all the best resources. They really tried to make her comfortable in this new establishment. And she was ordering people around. She was ordering the person who used to dress the Queen around like she was a basic personal assistant in LA. And that is from that woman herself who dealt with the abuse from Meghan.
And that I kind of don't really have any truck with. But the idea of a highly strung bride having an argument with her sister-in-law and that one piece of the argument taken out and blown up to kind of represent the whole
Simon, you're
the whole
completely
thing.
going over the fact that Meghan lied and flipped the story.
The point is,
it's just an argument. Families have arguments, friends have arguments all the time.
But the point is, though, that was the moment where William thought, uh-oh. Now, you're right, it might have been nothing, but it turned out that was the starting point for the downhill slide that led to Brexit.
And somebody might have said, and another onlooker who's not a favourable royal author might say, that was the moment when William learned that if he points at a strong-willed woman, he's going to get a mouthful back.
No, William...
That's what somebody else could say. That's
William
another
has
optic on
amazing intuition, and Robert Jobson actually writes very eloquently in the book about, you know, how he waited that 10 years for Kate to see if she was the right person for the job. And clearly, he actually took a good due process kind of thing to see if she was the right person who could take over and be the Queen. Whereas they waited 10 months, Harry and Meghan.
Because she's never going to be Queen. He's that's the whole point. He doesn't have to.
By the way, the late great Queen, Her Majesty
Hannibal Lecter. The late great Hannibal Lecter. Sorry.
You calling the Queen Hannibal?
No, I wouldn't dare. He just said the late great, and Trump
the late great is a common phrase. You know, it's not exclusive.
I know, but
it's
when
not
you
exclusive to Donald Trump.
When you paused, I thought you were going to say Hannibal Lecter.
Let's forget that.
We'll cut all that.
But the Queen did not make many mistakes in her long and glorious reign. But here's, I think, a profound mistake she made, because Meghan was clearly going round really pissing off the staff, really bossing them around. We know that. We've got documentary evidence.
We have.
The Queen wisely said, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get an independent investigation into this. That independent investigation, conducted by outsiders, was completed. The Queen looked at the results of that, and so did other senior royals, and they did not publish it. I'll tell you why, because they were terrified of what it said about Meghan. So there is that dossier at Buckingham Palace that I say would prove that Meghan was a dreadful bully to the staff, to the palace staff, in the days when she was back on this side of the Atlantic. And, you know, so that's the kind of person Meghan is.
Listen. Hollywood actresses I should imagine,
Game
can
show
be
hostesses, glamour girls
yeah.
on game
Hollywood
shows.
Someone who
actresses.
holds
I
box
can
57.
imagine
Deal or no
can
deal,
be,
high
can
heels.
be a bit of a nightmare. I have produced chat shows where Hollywood actors and actresses have come on and top singers, and they've been an absolute nightmare.
Yeah,
so I
that's
can
fine, but they're
imagine.
not getting
So I can
paid for by
imagine
the
that.
public
So I can
to be a
imagine
royal.
that
Let
Meghan.
finish.
I can imagine that Meghan got to the palace and possibly was highly strung and everything else.
Meghan is a difficult woman. She's a difficult woman.
And which is what a lot of men call women who are strong-willed and independent.
No, I think 19 people
I've just laid out the evidence. I wasn't just going, well, she's typically. Well, that's not fair.
Yeah.
I've just spent 10 minutes laying out the evidence. It's not just a cliche.
Annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it is. Time for a bad ad.
Welcome to the exciting world of Flowbee Precision Haircuts. In the next few minutes, we're going to show you how to achieve the kind of haircuts you've always wanted. Our motto? No hassle, no mess, easy to do. So just follow along with us in this video and you'll be a happy Flowbee user too.
So that explains your hair?
No, I can see that going very wrong. Someone overdoing it. Someone completely overdoing it and then just kind of being half bald on one side of their head.
But look, the evidence of some of those people who've been Flowbeed or Flowbeed themselves, it didn't look very even, did it? I got one guy had a...
Yeah, but it looks like he was pulling strands of hair out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
So so you're from Australia, where the Flowbee comes from. How do they work?
Yeah, I mean, I
What does
think
it do, pull the
looks
hair
like,
out?
Well, you know when you're a kid and you put the vacuum on your hair? I feel like it's like a version
No,
of that.
Sara, we don't do that in Britain.
No. Don't ask Kevin where he put the vacuum.
I think that's an Australian thing.
Different childhoods.
Yeah. But does the Flowbee actually yank the hair out of your head?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
Blood pouring. And on that bombshell, we better go to some real ads. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Assassination attempt? What assassination attempt? Google the bid to kill Donald Trump and it barely registers. Up comes JFK, his brother Bobby, Ronald Reagan, all the rest of them. But you have to scroll way down to find scant reference to that bullet slicing through Trump's ear, to America's 45th president coming so perilously close to a violent death. Meanwhile, Facebook has apologised for warning users that the iconic picture of a bloody Donald defiantly punching the air, surrounded by Secret Service agents under a Stars and Stripes flag fabulously flying against a bright blue sky was, and I quote, an altered photo. It wasn't, of course. Catching perfectly a remarkable moment in time, it was an instant, iconic image for the ages. Apparently, Meta's brilliant fact-checking system got its facts all wrong. Is that right? Or was this all part of a concerted campaign to undermine the shocking shooting from which Trump emerged a brave and indefatigable hero? Meanwhile, after senile semi-president Joe Biden was finally forced to step aside to let his dozy deputy run as the Democrats' candidate for the White House, suddenly laughing lying Kamala Harris is the greatest thing since sliced bread. She can hardly believe her luck. 2 weeks ago, against stiff opposition, she was widely regarded as the worst vice president in US history, a paragon of ineffectual uselessness, whose incompetent stewardship of the southern border migrant crisis helped turn it into a humanitarian catastrophe. A very unimportant person who was so rarely heard from, Americans forgot about her very existence. A fortnight later, suddenly, the fortunate Ms. Harris is hailed as something close to the second coming, the greatest presidential candidate there ever was, a human phenomenon who cannot possibly lose to the awful Trump, the assassination attempt on whom is barely worth remembering. In fact, let's remove it from the online universe, digitally erase it, and forget it ever happened. Oh, look, here's the chief of the Trump-hating FBI, acting like a bullet whizzing within millimetres of the Republican candidate's head was no big deal. In fact, FBI Director Christopher Wray told a congressional hearing it might not have been a bullet at all. It was, he ludicrously suggested, a bit of glass shrapnel emanating from a teleprompter machine. Garbage. Those pictures that, no thanks to Facebook, we know were not doctored, actually show a volley of bullets piercing the air right by Trump's elaborate hair. Teleprompter my ass. But this is how it rolls in a warped world where the left-leaning establishment uses fair means, but mostly foul, to wage a dirty war on the forces of the right. Remember Hillary Clinton's campaign contention that Trump was compromised by sex sessions arranged for him in Moscow by Russian spies. Utterly untrue, but typical low-down lefty tactics. Meanwhile, the shameless bias of America's Democrat-loving media continues apace. I don't think it was Trump's finest moment when he questioned Kamala's racial background at a convention hosted by the National Association of Black Journalists in Chicago, asking, is she Indian or is she black? Adding that his presidential rival was always of Indian heritage until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black. In fact, Kamala's father, Donald, is from Jamaica and her mother, Shyamala, is of Indian heritage. So is Ms. Harris Indian or black? She's both. Undoubtedly, Donald at his most crass and dumb. But by the way US journalists erupted in righteous horror, you'd think Trump had just joined the Ku Klux Klan. On the TV and in the papers, he can't win. But can he win the election? To paraphrase a certain Mr. Barack Obama, yes, he can. And he can, can't he, Samara?
Yeah, he can, but I think that, you know, some of his comments in the last week have been interesting and have sort of affected the polls a little bit, as well as JD Vance and some of the things that he's said towards Kamala. I mean, I don't blame, I think it was a bit lazy what he said at the convention. I think he could have spoken about all the missteps that she's made as the VP, the border czar issue, all those different things he could have gone into. And we talk about Google and silencing different things. It's happening on the other side. You can't find much things that are bad about Kamala online, which is very interesting.
It's very strange. Put assassination attempt and Trump doesn't come up. That's Google at work. It really is sinister. Now, before I come to you, Simon, in fact, let's just move on because you're just going to talk crap about this anyway. No, seriously, this is Donald Trump at his finest.
Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't.
What do you think about that?
Or is she black?
He is funny.
He's just weird. He's creepy Trump and he's weird.
Oh, that's it.
That's the byline, isn't it?
Oh, look, is that what the Democrats gave you? That's their new campaign tactic.
You know
Is it
something?
called,
You know
he's
something?
weird.
It's working
he's
a
weird.
treat.
Don't vote for him. He's weird.
It's working a
Go
treat.
on, parrot it out.
It's working a treat because every time he opens his mouth, you say that Kamala Harris has arrived and looks like the second coming. That's only because what she stands up against is so bad. If he was closer to being not weird
in your
and not
mind,
odd, then
in
she
your
wouldn't
mind.
seem such a massive,
But Simon,
deal.
you're entirely entitled to your opinion. Now, in my world, you wouldn't be entitled to it, but you are. But that is only your view. Millions of Americans revere Donald Trump, and your idea, your Trump derangement syndrome prompted idea that he can't possibly win, is absolute bullshit. He's still the favourite, you know. You do realise that.
He's going to get beaten by a black woman and he's going to get beaten, or an Indian woman.
Oh, no, wait a second. No, but you have to accept the facts. He is still the favourite.
No, I don't.
No, he is.
No, he's not.
He is in the polls.
He's behind in the
Tell me
polls
who
now.
isn't
No,
the
no,
favourite.
no.
He is behind
No,
in the
that's
polls.
only the national vote.
Okay,
That doesn't matter.
So context is everything, isn't it,
No,
Kevin?
national vote doesn't matter.
Okay, so
he's
polls
ahead in the key states.
No, he's not. In the swing states, Kamala is now pulled ahead.
That's fucking
It's
rubbish.
not. It's
Sorry,
not.
Kamala got 1% in the primaries. I'm not exactly sure. She was the least popular VP in history that we know of in most polls. But this thing that she's done where she's now identifying as black, it's a strategic move. Joe Biden, he always got the black vote. Even when he was seen as the walking dead and senile, the black vote actually didn't move.
Wow, I have to say, she's really playing the long game because she went to a black college and pledged to a black sorority.
Yeah, but she was raised by an Indian woman.
That would be her mother.
She's always she's always defined as black.
As I said,
her dad left when she was 7. She was primarily raised by an Indian woman.
Her dad is black.
Last campaign, she did videos with Mindy Kaling. She went to Indian festivals. She campaigned.
That's okay.
No, of course, it's completely fine. I'm half Indian myself. My dad is Indian.
of course you are, yeah.
So, it's completely fine. But what I'm saying is she was going for the Asian vote as the VP. Now, as the presidential pick, she's going for the black vote.
Oh, wow.
Well, she's probably going for...
changing her strategy to appeal to different groups.
I know.
Oh, my word.
I know. And
wow.
I don't think Trump worded it perfectly. But he is right because she flip-flops on many things. She's flip-flopped on fracking. She's flip-flopped on getting rid of private insurance. She's flip-flopped on getting rid of guns. This whole thing, she's completely changed all these positions. So, she's also flip-flopped on how she wants to identify.
She's an opportunist. Of course, any politician worth
their
their
salt.
salt.
She's an opportunist.
Any politician worth their salt sees a group and goes to and goes for it.
And in fairness to her, as I said,
and because she's black, she's got two groups.
For once in my life, I'm kind of with you. Politicians are pragmatists. They've got to go for what advantages they can employ. And in fairness to Kamala Harris, she can say I'm black and she can say I'm Indian, and both are true.
Yes.
So
she's got the best
it's
of
just
both.
weird.
I want to hand it to the Democrats. I really do, because
Here we go.
the problem with Joe Biden was he was a senile idiot, and they've got a much better candidate. She's just an idiot.
Oh, well done. Well done.
For VP, she's going to have to choose
Thank you,
Josh
thank you,
Shapiro, Tim Walz. She's going to have to choose a white male to be her VP. I think that's pretty much set in stone.
Yes.
So, she's going after the black vote that Joe no longer can get.
I mean, the trouble with Trump, and I said this last week, the trouble with Trump is now that there's somebody normal standing against him, they don't really have to do anything. They can just let him go to rallies. They can just let him go to rallies that and alienate people. With Vance standing next to him talking about crazy cat ladies.
You could say all this. This is just what you assume.
These are just
you don't
guys.
understand America.
These
you
are just
don't
guys
understand
alienating
America.
people
You could say,
over and over again.
Look, you could say all this because in your mind you can't imagine that Trump could beat this person. And by the way, here's MSNBC presenter Joy Reid sticking in her oar.
You're going to look real crazy being on the other side of that line, particularly as a person of color. But really as anyone who claims to have any connection to the culture. You're going to look real weird and real lonely on that side.
That's total racism. That if you're black, you have to vote for Kamala. That's racism. That's racism. You're saying that if you're black and you vote for Donald Trump, somehow or other, you've betrayed your race.
Kevin, last week, Trump, being just a bit mad, in his Mar-a-Lago, had a table put up, a cabinet table, a make-believe cabinet table. Benjamin Netanyahu's there, and he said, anybody who, I don't know how anybody could be Jewish and vote for her. So he's saying exactly the same thing. It's not racist.
I don't approve of that either. I don't approve of that either.
It's just ridiculous.
No, I don't approve of that either. I think, everybody should be able to vote for everybody. And if you're choosing who you're voting for just on the basis of the colour of their skin or their religion, then I think you're making a mistake. You should judge their politics, their policies, and what they stand for. So, Joy Reid, that is racism. That is racism. All blacks must vote for the black.
It's not not racism.
No, and
It's crass and it's stupid, but it's not racist.
But black people have always been burdened by this. If you're black, you vote Democrat. They're actually burdened by it.
They don't, do they?
Exactly. Because you know what? Donald Trump is running on business. A lot of black people are very entrepreneurial. They have businesses. They have small businesses, big businesses in America. And that is the ticket that he's running on. So I think that they're constantly annoyed by this sort of boxing in of, oh, you're black, you vote Democrat. It's been like that for years and years, and I think they're sick of
and
it.
also, Trump is pretty damn popular with the black community
Yes.
and the Latino community. So it doesn't wash.
Not as popular as he thinks with the black community.
Well, the numbers
the
the numbers speak for themselves.
Great rally in the Bronx.
And the numbers in the black community.
We're talking about enterprising people. He stands for business. He stands for people who work hard.
Exactly.
But Trump is obviously, I mean, all those things are a front. He's gone bankrupt more times than anybody
That's not
else.
the point. He still stands for business.
He stands for low taxes.
And therefore,
because he's a failed businessman, isn't he?
If a certain sort of person looks at Trump and sees him as a success for different... Wait there, let me finish.
Yeah, of course he lives in a shack, doesn't he? Because he hasn't got any money. Has to get the bus to go to work. It's terrible when you see him on the subway.
Context. As president, he was impeached twice. So I contextualise it. Contextualise it. Does that make him a successful president? I wasn't going to say a success in terms of business and everything else.
Impeachment doesn't matter. I mean,
well, no, if you've done the job before and the first time round you did it badly...
What does impeachment mean?
Listen, I'm not going to be knocked off course. If you've done the job before,
impeachment means is someone from the other party
and you've done the job badly, that might make people
Bill
think...
Clinton?
Monica Lewinsky was in the second term.
Yeah, well, so he did the job badly as well.
He
did the job badly as well.
It was in the second term.
Yeah, but he did the job badly as well because he was impeached.
Yeah, in some ways he did do the job badly. That's what it means. If you get impeached, you're not a great president, are you? You get impeached twice.
I think just as every president, unless America does something about it now, will find themselves in the courts charged with offences, criminal offences for what they did during their jurisdiction.
Yep.
Also, every president from now on, because politics in America, like here in Britain as well, is getting very attritional. They're going to get impeached.
Because of Donald Trump. He introduced the divisiveness into American
is just
politics.
a political tactic by the opposition.
Indeed, but...
So it doesn't really mean that.
Yeah, it does. It speaks to
It
something.
doesn't. It means you've got opponents in the Senate and Congress.
Sorry,
it's nice that you reel off
Let the ladies speak.
No, it's nice to sort of reel off all these different felonies and what Trump's done, but can you name me a policy that Trump has had that is bad for black people?
Yeah, good point.
Could you tell me?
I think
that's what the election's about. I thought it was about policies last time I checked.
Well, I think sort of tax breaks for the very rich when that money could go in.
Are you saying that black people can't be very rich?
No,
racist.
Okay, how many black billionaires have we got?
Oh, look, there you go.
Stop laying all these traps for me.
Stop it.
I'll stop falling in them.
You're the awful person.
You're a terrible person.
That much we did know. Time for a bad ad.
Bob's Bargains, Boiler Builders Buy. I've got ovens, cooktops, insulation, range hoods and dishwashers. Shame. Vanity units, ducted heating, spas and sinkerators. Baths and sinks and laundry tubs and gas wall furnaces. Bob's Bargains, Boiler Builders Buy. I've got troughs, hot water units, shower enclosures just for you. Shame. Discontinued factory seconds and they're all brand new. Shame. Everything but the kitchen sink, now I've got them too. Bob's Bargains, Boiler Builders Buy. Reservoir, Cranbourne or Geelong West.
What's it called? Harding.
Harding's Hardware.
When they kept saying cheap, was that the budget for their actually making that commercial?
What a disturbing mannequin
so
with
he's
its
a massive
mouth.
great guy who looked a bit like kind of a nightmare version of Bart Simpson.
And why did he capture
And then those tiny little kids that came out of the shower.
Why did he capture those kids and put them in the shower?
Why were the kids so and he was so massive?
It was a rather incestuous iteration of what an Australian person is, I feel. Because I feel...
is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that they probably ordered, like, blonde man from China in the mail, and then that's what came.
Did you get all your plumbing equipment when you were in Australia?
You're not allowed to ask that question.
From Harding's.
I'm surprised that they sell plumbing equipment. I didn't have any knowledge of this before I moved here, that was like a thing. Plumbing, basic.
I don't know what, you should never have left Australia while Harding's is still in business. We would want to avoid that fantastic...
But moving away from Samara's...
Anyway, time for some real ads. What just happened?
mad as hell, it's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back to What Just Happened. I'm still, unfortunately, with Simple Simon London and the great Sara Gill. And this is the laughable moment when we pretend to be serious journalists. That'll be the day. But we are going to have a very, very serious discussion about the Olympic Games. We'll come on to that sacrilegious mess, that joke of an opening ceremony in just a little while. But first, let's talk about the new event. I like it. I think it's a great idea. It is you can win now an Olympic gold medal in domestic violence. What happens is you put a woman in the boxing ring, and then a great bloke gets in the ring, punches her twice. She falls down, he wins the fight. A lot of people don't like that, but I think it's a fantastic spectacle. The domestic violence gold medal. I mean, this is actually what happened, though, basically. We've got an Algerian woman boxer called Iman Khalif and an Italian woman boxer called Angela Carini. Now, the difference between Iman and Angela is a woman. Iman is a man, is a bloke, a biological male. This poor Angela Carini is a copper. She trained for years for this. She gets into the ring. This guy climbs in, just belts her twice. She thinks this guy's going to kill me. So she just took her gloves off and said, that's it. Now, this is madness. This is madness. This is a bloke beating up a woman as an Olympic event. It's got to stop, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And we live in this really weird reality where everywhere I look, I see ads and different things saying, don't stop domestic violence, don't touch women. We had the Me Too movement, which was all about the recognition of women's rights and believe women. But then in the same reality, the Olympics sanctioning a domestic abuse scenario right in front of our eyes. And in fact, the IOC, the Olympic Commission, has come out and defended their choice last night, saying that apparently it's aggressive to say that we disagree with that as people, as women.
Yeah, so Simon, the thing is that last year, Iman, our friend, the Algerian, he was banned from the World Championships for competing as a woman because he doesn't have the right chromosomes. They tested him and said, you're a bloke. You can't be in this tournament. So he turns up at the Olympics and they go, oh, yeah, go right ahead. Now, he has male chromosomes. He is male. He has the strength of a male. And this is crazy. This is crazy. This was... I mean, I've been making jokes about it, but I find it very disturbing to see in the Olympic boxing ring a bloke beating up a woman.
OK, so I'm sort of gathering the information that I have, and there seems to be some misinformation in there, because I am led to believe that she is a woman, and I'm going to try and get to the end.
Not last year. By the way, sorry to interrupt, mate, but actually I'm not, as I always say. But seriously, we should stress, this is not one of these trans women issues. No. Keep forgetting his name. What's his name? Iman has not had surgery or anything like that. He was born with, apparently his testicles are inside.
Yes.
And so on and so forth. So he's very male. That's the point. Anyway, as I say, he is pummeling these women, and it's ridiculous.
OK, look. She was born a woman with, and I'm led to believe she has uterus and she has a vagina. I believe that she has.
I'm not going out with
I believe that she has very high levels of testosterone, and some of the stuff you said there is misinformation and has been contested on either side. But we do have a problem here. We do have a problem. If you accept that she is a woman and that she has a genetic abnormality, but she's been born and raised as a woman in a developing country, the advantage that she has with the testosterone in her body, what do we say about the advantage of women who can just get in the back of the car and go to the local leisure centre or something?
Why was he banned from the World Championships last year?
I'm coming to that. Advantage comes in different...
get around that?
Advantage comes in different ways. Apparently, she has a problematic past where she has taken testosterone and she's banned for having too much testosterone. I don't know about the XY chromosomes.
Well,
I would like to see
We do know
games.
about them.
I'd like to-
we do.
I'd like to
It's
see.
got XY chromosomes.
I would like to
Yes.
see games whereby people with XY chromosomes or X, whatever, intersex people could compete in their own
not enough.
section.
And you know
but
what?
if you're saying that somebody is a woman, sorry, Samara, but if you're saying that somebody is a woman and biological sex is real, she was born a woman. You can't have it both ways.
No,
You
no,
can't
but he's
be
got
angry.
XY chromosomes, so that makes
Yeah.
him male.
She's female. I'm led to
No,
believe she's female.
no. Well, you might be led to believe.
Well, I
you're led
can-
to believe total bullshit.
I can look on my phone
total
as well
bullshit.
and tell you.
The International Olympic Committee, when confronted with this horror,
Yeah.
you know, a man beating up a woman said nobody should be discriminated against. What about the poor Italian lady?
she's been judged to be a woman.
She was, yeah,
We had
but
to-
she wasn't last year. By the way, not she, he, bloke.
Yeah, we had to witness her crying. This
Have you
poor
seen
woman,
him?
This poor woman
You've
has done
seen
it for her
him?
dad. Yeah, it's ridiculous, Simon. And you say, oh, we don't know all the facts. The facts are that he was banned for having XY chromosomes. And once he failed the test,
Have you
you
seen
can't
him? He's
really-
built,
Okay,
he's,
look
he's
at the
built
world.
like a brick
Look at the
shithouse.
world. Look at the world you guys are
Yeah, but you-
creating.
I know you want to have an event where obviously these intersex people fight against each other. What's really interesting
Not
is that
fight,
we
compete. I'm not glad.
By the way,
boxing, but
listen, but this is carrying on. Unfortunately, Simon, his ridiculous standpoint is being backed up by the Olympics. And
Kevin.
I haven't finished. The Americans now have a similar contestant. This is Michaela. Let's have a look at her. That's Michaela Tyson there. He's fancied to win the women's title.
Okay, but this illustrates exactly what you two are saying, right? One of them is if women don't look feminine enough or pretty enough, and they don't, and they're not feminine enough for
It's
you
like
guys.
saying you don't
then
look feminine
then they are
enough.
male. The second thing is you're saying anybody who has some sort of just genetic disorder, or not disorder, but is in some ways a freak of nature, they should be stopped. You've got a basketball player in the Olympics who is 7'4". Michael Phelps had
tall basketball player.
7'4". Yeah, what are you going to say? Are you going to put a height restriction on basketball players? Michael Phelps had double-jointed ankles and double-jointed arms and produced 50% lactic acid. Are you going to say?
but he wasn't a woman.
Are you going to say? But he has.
At least he was a man.
Exactly.
Yeah, but at some point, people are. If you're born at the time as Usain Bolt
Yeah,
and you're
but
a sprinter, you're always going to come
This
second.
person, though,
this person is a freak
this
of
person
nature,
has
but they're still a female.
Yeah, but it's not. He's got XY chromosomes. That makes him a bloke. That makes him male, and that gives him the physical.
I don't believe she does. I believe she has.
You just keep saying you believe it.
No,
Well,
but you're
you,
looking
You
up.
believe a crock of shit.
Also,
Okay,
sorry, Simon,
look
can
it
you
up.
bring
Look it up
up
on
one? Can you bring up
Wikipedia.
one event where there's been a female competing in the males tournaments? I'd love to.
Yeah,
know.
they don't do it the other way round,
They really
do
don't
they?
do it the other way around, do they?
I don't
Wonder
know.
why.
Look,
I
here,
wonder
look,
why.
look,
I don't know
Let's-
because
let's-
it's not such a
Yeah,
hysterical.
because you don't know
rich
jack
thing.
shit. That's
Okay,
why.
thank
let's
you.
let's talk about the madness of the IOC's rules. The trouble with these Parisian Olympics, apart from the fact that you have to swim in sewage, the River Seine is filthy and unfriendly for human contact. Is that the IOC doesn't have a blanket rule. It should have a blanket rule. You know, trans women can't compete against women.
Which is all great.
No, so some sports in the Olympics have that rule and others don't. That is madness. But look, let's park this argument and just accept that Samara and I have won and you've lost, like all of our arguments. Even if we didn't, I say we did because it's my show. Let's talk about the opening ceremony. What a load of crap that was, wasn't it? A load of woke crap. And in the middle of it, there is a spoof of it's Da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper. There it is, bunch of drag queens. So you would think, would you not, that a city like Paris might fight a little bit shy of mocking religious imagery, given what happened a few years ago with the Charlie Hebdo Mohammed images. People were shot to death over that. You would think that they might say, well, actually, you know, maybe let's not mock religions. But of course, it's not Islam, so it's okay to do Christianity. That was really offensive. Very, very offensive to a very religious country like France. All around France, everybody was outraged, apart from the people who live in Paris, because Paris is just another woke, elite, liberal city. Like London, like New York. It's just another city. So Macron and Paris, completely out of step with the rest of France. And also, the other thing about that opening ceremony was so fucking useless, wasn't it? Useless. Incompetent.
Yeah.
Just a shambles.
Well, it was the first time they hadn't had it in an arena.
Wait a minute, sorry, we're just looking. That was a high point.
That
bloke with his bollock hanging out.
It was not his bollock, it's a hole in his tights. Yeah, and actually, that's what I mean about where do you get your information from?
No, that looks very much like a...
Yes, but it's a hole in his tights.
It's not a bollock. Like a hole.
Actually, what it is that boxer from Algeria, his bollock...
It's gone around social media.
Came out of him and
it's gone around social media, everybody's saying it's his bollock. But it's not.
So there's kids there, and his balls
Yeah, but it's not his balls. There are kids there, but it's a hole in his tights.
Look at that.
This is how mosques get burnt down.
Look at that image. Loads and loads of empty seats. People aren't going. Time now for a bad ad. Damn you.
Serendipity. Discover our wonderland. Serendipity. Turn reality into fantasy. A happy and unexpected surprise. Lush green parks and exciting rides. Fun food and times to last your life. Serendipity. Tasmania's wonderland. Fun times to last your life. Serendipity.
Australia's answer to Disneyland, and a very, very poor answer it is too.
Yes.
So did you spend your entire youth at Serendipity?
Yeah, we were speaking of being therapized earlier. I think I needed therapy after, many a holiday.
As soon as you bid to buy your plumbing equipment from Harding's, you were straight down to Serendipity.
Yeah, that was
for a
the
fun
Disneyland
day on
for
those
us.
rather shitty-looking little
ignorance is bliss. We didn't know any better.
That is a way of life in Australia.
Internet,
That's why Australians are so happy. Sorry, Australians,
and
just
Samara,
a joke.
Did you find the entertainment there appropriate?
Yeah, it was. At least there weren't any ball sacks flying in my face when I was trying to go on to
That's what it should say under the poster.
I think we'd better go to a real ad.
Serendipity, where they don't have ball sacks in your face.
I'm hilarious.
What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. We're still wrestling with the image of a little childlike Samara Gill at Serendipity Fun Fair with a ball sack.
It's the reality for some kids.
Is that normal at Australian fun fairs?
Well, apparently it's normal to show in the Olympics.
Thank you for watching, and thank you very, very much for your messages. We get thousands, and hopefully one day it'll be your turn. We go through a selection and we read them out, and they're always all about how brilliant I am, aren't they, Simon? What have you got?
The Jules 2015. Kevin is absolutely horrible. He's so nasty and rude. The way he speaks over the co-host and shouts at them. He's disgusting.
So much passion in your voice there, Simon.
Disgusting. Well, I've never been more offended in my life. What have you got, Samara?
And Nana has said, this is the first time I've seen this programme. I enjoy hearing the different viewpoints presented by people who genuinely like each other and enjoy the interplay. Very entertaining. I wasn't there last week.
Genuinely like each other?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, Nana, thank you very much, but I think you got the wrong impression. You know, we hate each other. We really do. Talking of whom, Simon?
Almond Hastings says, love Simon. While I dislike Harry and Meghan, love Simon while I dislike Harry and Meghan. I don't believe that Simon supports them, but they have him pretend to counteract Kevin. I also don't believe Kevin is as nasty as he pretends. It is fake and playing on the stupidity of the listeners, and probably they're laughing behind your backs. Well, you go first.
We both got a kick in there, didn't we? I mean...
he is as nasty as he
Kevin,
pretends.
No, that's not
Actually.
true. I'm nastier. Off screen, I'm much nastier
it's
than...
true.
Actually, that's true.
Yeah.
And I don't support Harry and Meghan. I just find your arguments
Yeah,
ridiculous.
the only difference between me on screen and off screen is I swear even more off screen. So what have you fucking got, Samara?
Francis says, geez, I love Kevin O'Sullivan. He's absolutely the best. He says and does it for me. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't change your style. You are on the money every single time.
And who's that again?
Francis.
Francis, thank you.
What a G.
Thank you. Keep tuning in. We love viewers like you. We don't love you, Simon. But
but we love
what have you got,
viewers.
simple
We
Simon?
love viewers.
Village idiot. Go on.
We love viewers like R. Manning 2750 though, Kevin. He says, "Oh my God, OMG, you are such a bad host. You keep interrupting."
But I do not keep interrupting.
And come out as narcissistic and rude.
Narcissistic and rude. Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
Said narcissistic.
I can't argue with that. What's Kevin like? Narcissistic and rude. I'm not that rude, am I, Sara?
No.
Get on with it, will ya?
Margaret says Simon is as brain dead as Biden if he actually believes the things that he's saying.
Time's up, I believe. Time's up,
yeah.
I believe. That's enough praise for me. A smallish thank you to Simon London. No, thank you, mate. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure. Is it a pleasure? Thank you very much to Samara Gill. It's been another lively show. That was a ball sack at the back. That was the funniest thing ever. So this has been another fantastic episode of What Just Happened. We will be back next week, same time, same place, right here on Talk and on YouTube. Be there. What just happened?